Okay, let's talk about my symptoms and what all I dealt with. This one's the tough one for me to share, because I can't just nonchalantly share it. I have to walk back through it every time I share it. So sometimes it's a little bit much for me as I relive those memories and the reality of what Nathan and the boys must have been living through and thinking, and just is just a little bit much. So I was an absolute picture of health. Everything was wonderful. And Nathan and I was like, the boys were so active in everything. Nathan and I were both working nonstop, just doing any and everything that we wanted to do. We were just making all of that happen. January of 2009, it started with flu-like symptoms, but it wasn't the flu. I was going to doctors, asking for help. They were all agreeing, you got something going on here, and I don't know what it is. I ignored completely, as much as I possibly could, any of those symptoms, and I just continued to press on as if it wasn't the case. They only got worse and worse, and they just started snowballing to the point to where in June, Nathan rolled me in the wheelchair to see one of the top neurologists at one of the well-respected hospitals in Atlanta. At that point, walking for me wasn't happening. I was putting one foot in front of the other about an inch or two at a time, literally. So if I went to the restroom, that would be like a 15-minute commute one way. And if you're thinking, if you watched me and you're like, I never saw you in the wheelchair, you will remember seeing Nathan carry me. And as opposed to that, either him or the boys would actually carry me. So my legs wasn't getting a message from my mind. So I wasn't able to make a normal stride. I wasn't able to pivot and turn. It was just a very, very, very slow shuffle. My arms, they decided to clock out basically as well, as far as any kind of strength of making. Like I couldn't open a water bottle. So if they were going to leave me at the house, you couldn't even like leave a water bottle there unless you had opened it for me. If I were going to fold a washcloth, the pain in my arms and neck and shoulders was beyond excruciating. I don't really like to talk about the pain part, because the way that I dealt with the pain was I learned to put it in a box and I put it away. And I separated myself from that pain as much as I most possibly could. I don't think that I'm weak or a sissy from the pain perspective. I mean, I birthed 3 sons without that whole epidural stuff, in the most natural way. So I understand pain, and I understand breathing through it, and I understand pushing forward, all of those good things. But the pain is definitely something that can change people, their personalities, and is a whole different can of worms that we'll have to have a whole video on the pain itself and how to work through that and all of that. So I had my arms and legs not working, excruciating pain. My skin itself, even just a breeze that would blow if I was out at a ball game, if I didn't have my light jacket on, a breeze that would blow. Everywhere I have a hair follicle, it was like pins and needles poking in my skin. Getting in the shower sometimes was like fire pouring on me as well. So the skinny shoes were very unnerving, but then there was the nerve issues. So lots of tingling sensations, more like electrifying would probably be a better way to describe that. A lot of neuropathy, that kind of pain, you can't rub it, you can't make it feel better, you can't get to wherever it is it's hurting. It's just never ending in those nerves in there. So substantial pain on so many different levels, in so many different ways. There's the energy and the exhaustion. Some days, if I got a shower, then I had to go back to bed. That would be all the activity that I could handle within that day. Sometimes people would say, well, I don't understand, Jane. I don't see how you can just sit at home. You just sit in the recliner all day. Y'all, I didn't pick that. I sat there because that was all that I could do. And if I had made it to the recliner, it was a pretty good day. Otherwise, I spent most of my time in the bed watching that ceiling fan go round and round. And yes, I used to get very aggravated with the ceiling fan because it always just went the same way, and it was just not very entertaining at all for me. Okay, so there's also the whole cognitive function. So if you know me now, you know how much I love talking. I love presenting, carrying on conversations, networking, socializing. Y'all, I could not really go probably beyond two to three sentences during some parts of this journey. Like completely, the cognitive stuff took so much effort for me to have just a typical thought process, not anything deep thinking or anything like that. I mean, just casual conversations were truly exhausting. Like, to help you understand a little bit better of what we were dealing with, like to the point where Nathan was having to cut up my food because if I'd cut up my food, I wouldn't have had the energy to eat my food. So, thank you all for bearing with me. I hope that the symptoms that I'm sharing is nothing that you can relate with. And I hope that what I'm saying, it sounds absolutely insane and crazy, and that you never understand what I'm truly talking about.